And he's called your name. Not as a last chance draftee, but as the one to run the team. He needs you. He needs me. There's a Bible story about that. It's found in Judges chapter 6. The Midianites had been giving the Israelites what for now for 6 years. And there's a young man by the name of Gideon who is very angry at the Midianites. Very angry at his parents and all the politicians and everybody else. They're a bunch of wimps. And it's time we get on with the real life of being God's people. But nobody will listen to him. And it's such a scary life that he's actually been planting wheat in little clumps and clusters all around, so it doesn't really look like wheat. It kind of looks like it fits in with the tumbleweeds. And so he's been putting some of that and taking it up to the old wine press, because it's not the time of year anybody would go to a wine press. And so he's up there and he's working on it. And I don't know whether you've ever tried to thresh wheat with your feet in a wine press. We actually did one day just to see how it feels, and you really want shoes. And I don't think he had them. And there's Gideon, and he's telling God what he really thinks. Remember the Psalm verse? Don't be impatient. God's got his time. It's all put together. And he's coming for you because he needs you. And all of a sudden, Gideon feels somebody's there. You ever had that happen? Well, you girls did when you were in academy. Remember, you could tell when the guy on the other side of the room was looking at the back of your head? That's the way Gideon felt. He had this sudden, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. Because he had forgotten his sword on the other side of the threshing floor. And he had no way to protect himself. And obviously the only person who would be up here is a Midianite soldier. And so he grouses into the wheat as he slowly moves back towards where maybe he can reach. Get his sword, grab it, and turn towards this Midianite soldier. And his sword reaches about knee high. And he looks up at Jesus, the Son of God, the captain of God's army. This is not Gabriel. This is not Fred. This is the captain. Jesus, leaning against the oak of Mamre, planted probably by Jacob. Young man, God has called you to deliver Israel. Mighty warrior. And Gideon can't handle it. He says, I am not a mighty warrior. Look, I'm too stupid to even get my sword with me. And then he just tells God everything that's gone wrong in the world and how the politicians are all thieves and Jesus just listens. And when finally Gideon wears out, Jesus moves aside from the tree and said, you are going to deliver Israel from the Midianites. How can I do that? I'm nobody. I wasn't even drafted. Sorry. And the Lord leans down a little ways and says, if you let me bring my power, they don't have a chance. And then he smiles. And Gideon, in the midst of the chaos of all the garbage going on in the world around him, he's thinking, if only the world would end and God would take us home to the real Garden of Eden in heaven. He's thinking all those thoughts. And Jesus says, you don't need to worry about all that. That's a victory that's going to be easy in my strength. God has never said, go win the war in your strength. You'll not find that anywhere in the Bible. He never says, you've got it, go get them. Well, he may say that, and then he always adds, in my strength, the victory is ours. There's a song right now that's played on my car radio about there's always a fourth man. It takes you to Daniel. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Nebuchadnezzar, hot. And in the midst of it, when everything looks like it should be nothing but flames, there's always a fourth one. And he will stand by you, and you will be victorious. Marta sat in Armando's hut, and they studied about Jesus. They read not just one page or one verse or one book. They studied the Bible, all of it, as deep as they could. She told me there's one verse that she decided she loved more than all the others. It's found in Habakkuk. Though the cashews do not blossom, and there's no fruit on the peanut vines, I will trust him. That's Habakkuk 3:20, Mozambique version. Then she went home. When she got home, she made all the noise she could around her house so that all the neighbors came. And she said, tonight there'll be a fire at my house, you'll be here.